Good morning, everybody. Welcome back from Christmas break. This week we're going to talk about simple interest, probably for a couple days, and then we will get a study guide, and we will have our Unit 1 or Unit 3 test, I guess, on Friday. So let's get started with simple interest. Now, this should be included in your Unit 3 packet with the percents. It's going to be towards the end, or it is the last couple pages of the packet. Okay, so find that sheet if you have it printed out, and take notes while we're going over the video. So, simple interest, okay? So, just to start out here, it says Carl just turned 13 and is now old enough to open a savings account. Previously, he used a piggy bank to save his money. Consider the advantages and disadvantages of using a savings account over a piggy bank. Well, one thing that a piggy bank does not do, it does not earn interest. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about today is interest. All right, your savings account, well, if you put money in there, if you just leave money in there, it's going to earn interest. Okay? That might not be that much, but it will earn a little bit of interest. Okay? The one thing, the positive about the piggy bank is you have the money with you. And that's with you at home. Okay? The savings account, well, it's at the bank. Your money is at the bank. Okay? Okay. So let's talk about what simple interest is. Okay? Simple interest is interest earned only on the principal or the original amount deposited in the account. Okay? So, if you earn interest, the next time you earn interest is not the total amount that's in there, but it's off the original amount. Okay? It is earned over a period of time and is written as a percentage. Okay, written as a percentage. Okay, and the equation that we're going to use for simple interest is excuse me. Okay, so the simple interest equation we're going to use is I is equal to PRT, okay? And out here, I'm going to tell you what all of these are. So the I is the interest, okay? I is the interest, okay? And it tells us that it's probably going to be written, well, it's how much money that you're going to make, your interest. Okay. P, now, if you remember back in our percent equation and our percent proportion, P was the part, okay? In this case, P is your principal, so that's the money that you started with. Okay? So that's the principal. Okay? R is your rate. And your rate is, it's talking about the percentage, and this is going to be as a decimal. Okay? So remember, if we have a percent, okay, say if we have 10%, all right, 10% as a decimal, well, we just take our 10% and divide it by 100. Okay, and that'll give us 0.10. All right, and T is the time, and that's in years. Okay, so if it's months, we got to convert our months to years. Okay, so if it's 6 months, okay, 6 months is equal to half a year. Okay, so you'd have to do half a year. Instead of just writing the 6 months, you do what the 6 months is in a year. All right, now, like I said, we're going to go over a couple of these examples, 4 examples. Then we're going to have about 5 problems for today. Tomorrow we'll have about 10, okay, just to give you extra practice. All right. All right, so use a simple interest formula, which is I is equal to PRT, to determine the amount of interest earned. Then find the total value of the account, all right, assuming no other deposits or withdrawals are made. All right, so we're not saying 5 years down the road you take out, I don't know, $20 or something. Okay. So what I want you all to do is I want you all to write the formula down first, the equation. All right. And then let's read what number 1 says. A $900 deposit for 20 years at a simple interest rate of 4%. All right. So we want to know how much interest that you're going to make in that time. All right. So now we want to make sure that we place these numbers where they go. All right, so right now we're looking for the interest, so we don't know I. All right, so we know these 3. We just got to make sure we know which ones are which. So a deposit, $900 deposit, well, the principal tells us, right? The principal or the original amount deposited. So this is P. All right, your years or time is years. So that's your T. And of course, your percentage is your rate. All right, but we need that as a decimal. Okay. So you just take 4 and divide it by 100. That's going to give you your decimal. So now we have I is equal to, well, my part is 900. Okay. My rate, so I'm going to take 4% divided by 100. That's 0.04. 0.04. Okay. And then my time, well, time says in years, and that says 20 years. So we can just put 20 there. We don't have to change it. All right. Now all we need to do is multiply these. All right. When the letters, the variables are right next to each other like this, that means you're multiplying them. Okay. So 900 times 0.04 times 20 should give us an interest. And now our interest, remember, is talking about money, is $720. Now you don't have to put the cents in there because there's no cents, but $720. Now it wants to know the total value of what it's worth now. Well, we're going to take that interest. So total value is equal to the interest plus your principal. Okay? So just add those two together. And when we add 900 and 720, it'll give us 1,620. Okay? Not too bad. All right, let's move to the next one. Again, let's go ahead and write our formula. I is equal to PRT. A $5,600 deposit. Now, if it's a deposit, what is it? Just like this one. Okay. It is our principal. So that's P. Our time is what? 45 years. And our rate is 3%. All right, so change that 3% into a decimal. Your percent divided by 100. So 3 divided by 100. We're going to get I is equal to, all right, 5,680, or 5,600, okay, times my rate, and I change that into a decimal, and then my years, 45 years. That's in years, so I get to keep 45. All right, so again, all I need to do is multiply. So 5,600 times my 0.03 times my 45 so 7,560. Okay, so the total value is what? Let me write it maybe a little bit better. I'm going to write it as TV. Alright, I wrote it down there. TV, total value, is equal to the principal plus interest. Alright, so my principal is 5,600 plus 7,560. So now I have a total value of 13,160. Okay. Now, let's see here. Not every case you're going to be given PR and T. Okay. Sometimes it might give you the interest and ask you what the principal is and give you the rate and time. Okay? And if it does that, then I'll tell you what, let's just do number 2. Let's say number 2 asks for the principal. Okay? So we don't know the principal, but it says that our interest, we earned an interest of 7,560. Okay? And it wants to know the principal. It still gave us the 45 years. And a rate of 3%. Okay, so we would put. Oh, sorry about that. We would put our 7,560 where I is, because it tells us, well, the interest you earned is 7,560. Okay. We don't know the principal. All right, we're just pretending that that's what it's asking us now. So what's your original, what was the original amount deposited? All right, it gave us the rate, and it gave us the 45 years. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to multiply these two together. So we got to multiply 45 times 0.03. And that's going to give us 1.35, and I'm just going to move the P to the other side. Is equal to 7,560. All right. So once we get here, we treat it like we did before with our one-step equations. Okay. We're going to divide each side by the coefficient that's with the variable. Okay. So those will go away. 1.35. All right. So now we got 7,560 divided by 1.35. Okay. I'm just going to scoot this over here. So this is kind of what we got right now. Is equal to P. All right. Well, we divide those. And we get the principal is equal to what? 5,600. All right. So just make sure we put the numbers with the variables and where they go. Okay, and then we can solve. We could solve for the rate the same way. We can solve for the time. Okay, the same way we did just this one right here. And we're going to have that in our assignment today. Okay. All right, let's look at example 3. Danielle borrows, okay, $2,500 from the bank at 6% simple interest for 5 years. How much is Danielle going to pay in interest? All right, now she's borrowing, okay? This is the same thing. If you borrow $2,500, well, that's the principal that you borrowed. It's the original amount that you started with, okay? So when you're borrowing money, okay, so we either going to deposit it. It's money that's the original deposit, the original amount borrowed, or in the next case, the original amount invested. Okay? So these are all, and I'll write them up here too. So, borrowed, and invested. Okay? So she borrows $2,500. All right, so let's write our formula down here, our equation. All right, and wants to know how much interest she's going to pay. Well, I is the interest. So we can go ahead and put the I down because we don't know it. So the amount borrowed, $2,500. The rate, well, what's it say the rate is? The rate is our percentage. Okay? And that's got to be as a decimal, so we do 6 divided by 100. Okay, 0.06. And for 5 years. All right, remember that time has to be in years. Well, that says 5 years, so we're good to go ahead and put 5. So now all we have to do is 2,500 times our 0.06 times our 5 years. So now when we get to one like this, we need to answer in a sentence. Okay, so we have Danielle is going to pay, and when we multiply all those together, she's going to pay $750 in interest. All right. Let's move to the next one. All right. So I just said invest, okay, is the same thing as your principal all the way up there. So Terry invests $6,000. I'm going to go ahead and write my PRT down here. All right. It's $6,000. So that's P in a CD at an annual interest rate of 7%. Okay. What will his investment be worth at the end of 6 months? All right. 6 months. What I tell you, we got to turn it into a half a year, okay? So I have we want to know what his investment's worth. Well, that's the total amount, okay? So we're going to take the principal plus the interest when we get it. And I'm just going to pause the video and go ahead and write this out, and then we'll talk about it, okay, because we're getting short on time. Okay, so, all right, as you can see here, the interest is equal to $6,000, all right, which is my part, or my principal, sorry. My rate, I changed my 7% into a decimal, 0.07, okay, and I changed my 6 months into years, so that's half a year, okay. Now you could have put one half here, you could have done it in a decimal. I just did it in a decimal, okay? So if you put one half here as a fraction, that would be perfectly fine. All right. And our interest is $210. All right. So it wants to know what the total investment would be, or what the investment would be at the end of 6 months. So we want to know how much it's worth. So if we want to know how much that investment's worth, we do the principal plus the interest. So our principal, $6,000, plus my interest, $210. Add those two together. His total investment at the end of 6 months would be $6,210. Okay. A short assignment for today. Okay. A short assignment. All right. And we're going to have, looks like probably 5 questions, 4 to 5, or 5 to 6 questions, okay? If you have any questions, send me a private comment, and we can work through it again. We can talk on the Google Meets, okay, later. But simple interest isn't too bad. I just wanted to have a couple days to do it before. I didn't want to rush it. So get the assignment finished for today. There'll be one tomorrow. Look for your study guide on Wednesday, and test Friday. Okay? And the test Friday is going to be Unit 3%. So if you can get your hands on the packet, if you haven't already, go back and watch these videos and make your notes. Okay? All right, you all have a good day, and I'll hopefully see you on the Google Meets.